I like how they do a financial talk before I get up here, because I'm going to make you guys spend a lot of money. No, I'm joking. The cool thing is that today we're going to be talking mostly about what I do and how I create what I create, and you guys will see the numbers and understand how the numbers actually happen. I get it all the time where people are like, Curtis, you just had a $70,000 week. How did you do it? Did you have this person doing this? Did you have this person? No, I sold $70,000. You know, people were there. They watched me do it, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to tell you guys how to make it so that you can show up and be present all the time and be producing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a week and know that you're doing your job properly, but also having balance in your life as well, right? As you guys know, I am married to my wife, Tui. We've been together 17 years. I have a little 5-year-old that means more to me than anything else. So my why completely changed 5 years ago, and I think that you guys will see this because that's where my systems and everything that I'm going to talk to you guys today really became the focus of my business. Because in a few years, when she's older and she's in sports and doing her thing, I'm going to be removed from Cutco, but my business is still going to be producing at a high level, right? So the big thing that I have here is systems are your number one thing that you guys need to pay attention to. I noticed that a lot of you guys have systems. You call them systems. It's called I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. I just show up to whatever show I can get my hands on. I try to sell whatever I can. And I can just tell you this, it's not going to get you to where you need to be. If you're one of those reps that's like, hey, I want to get to 500K, you have to have a good system in place. If you want to sell $1 million, trust me, the reps that are selling $1 million, they have a system in place, okay? We just don't talk about our system because we're just the name behind the report, right? And the thing is that I'm going to be talking about the system and teaching you guys things that will help you and hopefully get your system in line. So I always say you got to work smarter, not harder. People do know in this room I am a hard worker, but it's only when I'm working, okay? There's a difference between working all the time and working smarter, right? So the first thing I have here is that delegation, okay? We all love this word. Some of the people in this room, they go, oh, I don't like to delegate because it costs money. Yes, it costs money, but you got to realize that when you delegate, it makes you less transactional, okay? A lot of reps don't realize that they become very transactional with their customers because they're only just trying to get the next number, right? I'm not trying to be transactional. I have a lifetime of interactions with those people, right? So I need to make sure that I'm delegating away the things that are not going to make me transactional when I'm working with a person. And I can tell you this, if you are that person that's doing your own phone calls, doing your own emails, you know, answering all of that, doing your service calls and showing up, you're overworking yourself for the CPO that you deserve, okay? At the end of the day, you're really good at what? Selling. So what you need to be is in front of people selling, not doing all that other work that's not you selling. Does that make sense? So I put here delegation. Before your system works, you have to have everything delegated so that the system works properly, okay? And I put here, if you can't afford it, that means you choose not to afford it, okay? One thing that will change is that if you say, hey, I'm going to pay this person to do this thing, you're going to work harder so that you can pay that person because they're going to make your job a lot easier and your life a lot easier. So the first thing I have is delegate. Delegate someone that's really good at CRMs. Okay, I have 4 assistants. I know this sounds strange, but I have 4 people that help me. Yes, they're not in the field like selling everything for me so I don't have to work. Okay, they're people that are managing my system so that I can actually do the job, right? So I have a personal assistant that does nothing but CRM work. Okay, and what she does is she does all my tags. She finds out everything that's going on with the customer so that when that customer comes on a schedule, she can put the notes right into the notes and tells me exactly what I need to know before I go into a customer's appointment, right? Or if it's a service event, I know how many pieces that person has. I know how many times they've come into a service event because my CRM person goes into my CRM, knows all the tags, knows everything that's going on with that customer, so that it makes my schedule and my system that much easier, right? So we're going to go over this because we're going to go through color coding and we're going to go through all the madness of what we do, okay? So we have a CRM that does that, right? A person that knows the CRM. Do I know everything about the CRM? Heck no. But the thing is that I hired someone that does know everything about the CRM, and if she doesn't know something about it, then she reaches out to the CRM people, or we reach out to other people that know everything about the CRM, okay? If someone goes, Curtis, how can you find a customer on CRM? I don't even know my password to the CRM, okay? Just being honest, right? That's why I delegate that out, because that's something that I shouldn't have to deal with, right? That's why I pay that person a lot of money to do what they're supposed to do, okay? The other thing I have here is that you guys have got to get really good at making it easier for the people that you're delegating the work to, okay? What it is that there's always a struggle where it's our business, it's me, it's all about me, I got to do it, it's me, I'm the face of my business. I am the face of my business when it comes to sales, but the rest of that can be pushed off somewhere else, right? And what I mean is you got to make it easier for the person that's going to be doing your scheduling, the person that's going to be making it so that it works. So to give you guys an give you guys an idea, do you guys do Google Sheets at all? Did you know that you guys can do QR codes with your Google Sheets? Okay, yes, taught this at Texas State Fair. This is the best thing that's ever, right? You're at the show, someone goes, hey, I need my knife sharpened. Hey, scan this. They scan it right there. Next thing you know, they fill out that Google Sheet. It immediately sends it right to my assistant. She's already behind the scenes. She knows what to do with that person, put them in categories, put them in sheets, put them in where they need to be, right? Make it easier for those people, right? It's the same thing when you guys are using your rep portals, okay? How many of you guys actually use your rep portal? Okay, not just to send an occasional email or get a customer to just go and buy, right? Did you know that your rep portal is an easy thing for you to have at the booth where you're like, hey, just go ahead and go right here. You go to your rep portal, you go to contact me, have them fill in the information, you click service request, put in their zip code, right? That's what we do. We do everything by zip codes because if you know CRMs, everything's by a zip code, right? Put the zip code in the bottom of the comment section, send it. Next thing you know, your assistant gets that email, because I have an assistant that does emails, I have an assistant that does phone calls, I have another person that does my texting, and I have another person that does my CRM, right? So if anything hits their, like pings them, they immediately know what to do with it, right? So what it is that you guys have got to make it easier for them and make it so that if something comes through that channel, it's easy for them to identify where that goes, right? Now, yes, we ROR, so what happens is that lead will go into a Google Sheet. That person knows first thing I have to do is ROR that person. If that person ROR out, then it goes right into the CRM, okay? Kelly Kinzer talked about this last night in her talk. Put them in your drip system. That's the whole point of using our rep portals, right? They have to put their email, they have to put their phone number, right? If we put their zip code, we put that right in the CRM. Now they're on our drip system, okay? So that customer will get emails even though it's taking us a little time to go out and sharpen their knives. Yes, it is a concept. Curtis does go out and do service calls, okay? It's easy money. I think that that's something we're going to talk about here in a little bit, okay? So I also say here, your schedule is the biggest asset that you have, okay? The more that you know about your customer, the easier it is to sell to that customer. Make sense? If I can go to a customer's house and I know that they've bought for, you know, Johnny and this person and their kids and they have an ultimate set, I'm like expecting to see an ultimate and 3 galley sets at this appointment. So I'm not going to be disappointed when I show up and go, oh my God, I have all these knives. I can't be overwhelmed, right? No, you read the note and you're like, okay, don't be overwhelmed. There's probably going to be a lot of knives in there, right? So just be really good at sending them back to the factory. You know what I mean? There's just certain things that you have to do when you're at the level that we're at, right? So the thing is that time is money, right? Your time is money. But what you need to do is that you need to make sure that when you have your schedule, it's color-coded, okay? If it's a money customer, so here's my schedule. So if I see a schedule, if we see blue, that means that it's not scheduled yet, okay? That means that we're waiting for it to come on there, okay? This is going to be different than a schedule that we're going to talk about at service events, okay? Or service calls. So what happens is that it's blue, and then it turns into purple when it's scheduled, okay? If it's marked green or dark green or anything like that, I know that they're a money customer, which means that we see this customer almost every year, or every single time that I've talked to them, they bought something, okay? So then that just indicates to me, hey, I better read my notes before I go in here so that I know exactly who this person is, so that I'm not going, hey, Sally, and don't know who the heck she is, right? It's like, okay, this is Sally, this is her dog's name, this is this, so immediately when I come in there, the rapport is already built. I don't have to fake it, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? So when you have your schedule, you have it like that. Now, once you do your demos or you do your service calls, what we do is we recode them so that my assistant, that is my booking assistant, knows exactly what that customer is as well. So if that customer turns into black, that means take them off the list. We don't contact them until they contact us, which means no, sorry, I can't deal with you every year. You know what I mean? You're out there, right? If we turn them to light purple, that means put them on ice, cool them down. That means that we've seen them too often, right? So usually what that means is that if it's purple, then she goes, okay, we're not going to contact that person for 2 years, right? If we put green and we keep it green, then that means money, keep her, call her in 6 months or to a year, put her on all of the drips for if we have a sale coming up or something like that going on, right? Then, so we have those color coded. If it turns red, then that assistant knows either A, they didn't show up to their appointment, or B, they need to be rescheduled, okay? So it's all color coded so that that person that's my phoning assistant already knows the schedule and what's happening on an everyday basis, okay? The other thing too is that after you get done with your appointments, we make notes. Do not make the note on your Google, like how you guys do your app, or you guys have it on your schedule. Don't make the note on there, because whatever you write on there goes to that customer in an email, okay? I didn't know that until my assistant said, quit writing stuff on there, because I wrote some bad things sometimes, and customers like, did he really call me and I was like, no, I didn't do that. That was just a mistake. You know what I mean? So just make your notes at the end of the day, right? So what it does is that when you guys do your notes, then that assistant knows to go in there and then put that in the CRM. And she transfers that to the CRM person, and then that person does all the notes, right? Does the tags, does all the information. So like I said, see, there's a system there, but that system is in place so that it helps me and my assistants when it comes to scheduling and doing CRM work, okay? The other thing is that I put here with your schedule, you need to have a 6-month or a yearly plan in place. You can't be going month to month. You can't be going 2 weeks in advance or anything like that. I couldn't sell $1 million if I didn't know what was happening next week, okay? I would be completely lost, and I wouldn't know where I was going. So I know a lot of you guys say you have a schedule, but do you really have a schedule? Do you stick to that schedule, okay? I take off 2 days every single week, and it's in my schedule. Don't talk to me. Don't do anything. I have nothing to do with Cutco on those 2 days a week, right? That is family time, that is personal time, that is whatever time I need. But my assistants know, don't contact him, don't call him, don't do anything on those days because I'm not working, okay? And if you guys go on vacation with me, you know when I say I'm on vacation, don't talk to me about Cutco, or I'm gonna take you to the bar and you're gonna learn really quickly that we don't talk about Cutco when I'm on vacation, okay? So have a 6-month and a yearly plan. What you need to do is you need to sit down with the people that you're delegating with. Instead of micromanaging them and telling them what to do and how to do it and what works best and this and that, you got to remember that if you want them to stay long-term, don't micromanage them. They are professional at what they do, okay? If you don't like something that they're doing, then there's a way to correct them rather than reprimand them. Does that make sense? What we do is we have a monthly meeting where we sit down. We go over exactly what we need to do. We exactly know what numbers that we have to hit, okay? Because we do a projection from week to week. You guys know how to do that, right? Month to month. You guys go on your Vector Connect. You're like, okay, this week I sold 27,000. How are we going to hit that number? I don't have that show this year, so how are we going to recreate that number? Okay, we're going to put a service event in there, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, right? So I always tell people, if you really care about your schedule, sit down with the people that are making your schedule and make sure they know the numbers that they need to hit on that schedule as well, right? Because it's like, hey, I don't want to be behind by 20,000 from last year on this month when I should be hitting the same number every single year, right? And as you guys saw in January, 160K. This week I sold 75. Hopefully we'll be at 150 by the end of this month. Next month I want to do another 150, 200. I have goals, right? So my assistants are doing everything that they can to make sure that those goals happen so that at the end of April, May, and June I can take off and I don't have to think about Cutco, right? That's how the schedule works, right? So other than color coding and understanding that you got to sit down and you got to figure out your schedule, you also have to make sure that your family and your personal obligations are first, okay? Yes, I know that Cutco is your family, Cutco is your thing, and that's what makes you money, but the thing that actually keeps you grounded and keeps you motivated is your personal relationship with not only yourself, but the people that surround you as well, okay? So I always say when you sit down with your 6-month goal, make sure that you plan out everything with your family and your personal things as well, okay? It's very important that you have peace of mind with your loved ones, okay? You don't want it where your daughter's going, Daddy, you're never home. Daddy, you're never seeing me, right? If that ever happens, I immediately go, okay, we're cutting this show out. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. She gets me for 5 days straight. You know what I mean? Tell my wife, here's some money. Go to the spa. Enjoy yourself. You know, pamper yourself. You know, it's only money. We can make more of it, right? So I have that there. So I'm going to talk to you guys about delegation again. If you guys are selling over $200,000 a year or you have more than 1,200 customers, you should have assistants, okay? That just means that you're making the money that you can afford an assistant. As you guys all know, once you get to 300, 400K a year, that's when you actually start making money, and that's where you start investing more money into your business, right? Instead of just spending it on bottle service and doing random things like that, right? That's when you're at like 700,000 a year, right? Just joking. So I just put in here delegation. The things that I see is that if you are a person that is hard about getting back to your emails, hire someone to do that. Josh Mueller knows this. He says you don't do emails, you're a text guy. Thank you for understanding, Josh, that I am a text guy, right? Because a text comes to me, an email goes off into the abyss of 3 other people, you know what I mean? And then if it's important, they'll go, hey, there's an email I sent to you, can you look at it? I'm like, can you just text me what it's about? Right, and they're like, okay. So if you're bad about emails, hire someone to do your emails, right? If you're bad about doing marketing, there is people that you can hire to do your marketing for you, okay? Hire them out, right? I don't do any of the marketing. I'm just saying this is what I need, this is what I have coming up. There you go, right? Josh and team, they call me at like Texas State Fair. I'm like, yep, whatever, just whatever. It looks good. Yep, approved, right? Because they're the best at it. So I'm not going to try to recreate it. Get what I'm saying? So delegate the things that you know you're bad at and the things that you don't want to do, or the things that you know you're never going to do, right? So like if you guys send out catalogs and you never follow up with them, well, you probably should hire someone to do the follow-up for you so that you can actually make a profit off of those catalogs, okay? There's so many people that I talk to, they're like, yeah, I sent them out and I spent like $4,000 and I didn't even call one of them. And I'm like, well, that was a waste of your $4,000, right? Whereas we have people that literally call, say, hey, did you get the catalog? The catalog should have came in the mail, blah, 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 blah. If you need anything, reach back out to us and we'll get that taken care of. Boom. Leave the message, move on, okay? So delegation is key to everyone's success, especially with your systems. So then I'm going to go into the nitty-gritty of what I do, okay? And this is going to be like the breakdown of how I sell what I do and what my mental thought is, okay? Service calls, I do service calls. I do in-home service calls, and I do those for the clients that I know need my attention, okay? And what that is that in our CRM, we already have those people tagged. Those are not the needy customers, okay? Those are those money customers that you know are going to buy when they see you, okay? I love it when I show up to someone's house and they're like, oh shit, it's you. And I'm all like, yes, I'm here for the next hour. Are you ready? And they're like, this is going to be expensive. I'm like, that's why I'm here, right? Get it? Okay, I'm not there to do a free service for the lady that's asked me to sharpen her knives 100 times in the last 2 years, right? I just know that that's someone that's needy. You can come to a service event. We're going to have you come in. We're going to take your knives out the door. You go, and then we're going to get the next person in, right? So strategize what you're doing. The reason why I say service calls, it's easy money, and it's the most profitable thing in our business, right? If you guys do shows, you pay for that. If you do service events, you pay for that, right? Where if you do a service call, yeah, you pay for gas. That's a lot cheaper than standing at a booth that's costing you $700, hoping that someone comes up to the booth, right? So just realize that that is an easy way to make money, right? And I put here, I do 5 a day, and I'm done by 5 p.m., okay? It's very important that you guys aren't scheduling late appointments, okay? If that customer's like, oh, I can only do it like later because I work all week, okay, well, we'll get you in the schedule when we have a Saturday or a Sunday or a different day that works best for you, okay? I'm not going to sacrifice my 5 p.m. and above because I have a family that's at home that we like to sit down and have a real meal with, and we go and do homework and we talk about what happened today at school, right? So it's very important that that's my schedule and I stick to it, okay? I know a lot of you guys in this room, you're like, oh, an appointment is an appointment. No, an appointment isn't an appointment if it sacrifices your time for the things that you need. So like if you know you go to the gym at a certain time, guess what? Don't sacrifice it by putting a customer in there because that messes up your daily routine, right? So just think and strategize better. Next thing I have here is service events. We do 22 service events a year, okay? I know that some of you guys are like, holy shit. Yeah, it's a lot of service events, but I have a lot of customers. I mean, 20,000 people. Do you think that I'm gonna see that many people a year? No, okay? But the thing is that if I already have those scheduled events out, we can bring in 16, 30, 70, 90 people in an event, okay? It's fun when I show up to a service event because my assistants, all 4 of them, know that if there's a service event, it has to be booked fully, okay? If I have any gaps or anything and I'm sitting around, that's money I'm losing, right? So I have it in here. Service events, key to your success, okay? If you're someone that doesn't want to do in-home service calls, do service events, please, okay? It was great because in January I was doing a service call with one of my customers and they were talking about how their mom has a rep in California and how wonderful it is that the #1 rep in California, which is doing service calls, right, in home, how wonderful it is that she took time to do that. And my customer doesn't even know who I am sitting at their table, right? So I was like, who's the rep? And she's all like, oh, her name's Deanna. And I was like, oh, I know Deanna. She's great, blah, 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 blah. Text Deanna a picture of her and text the mom. And then next thing you know, the mom goes, do you know who's in your kitchen? And then she's like, no. And then she's like, he's the #1 guy in Colorado, right? So then it was like, oh shit, you guys, oh, this is, and then it was like an epiphany, like even the top people have time to take care of us, right? So it was just like one of those aha moments, like, yeah, you think your girl's good. Do you not know who I am? You know what I mean? So vice versa, same thing happened with Matt and I. So it's just an interesting culture when you're actually doing your job properly. The response is just amazing, okay? Service events, I do 45-minute windows, okay? 45-minute appointments. If I know that I have a full schedule, right, of 16 people coming in, and then we get the people like, man, I couldn't get an appointment. How can I get an appointment? Well, give me 1 second. Go right in the schedule. I know who has what knives. I know how many knives they're bringing into the event. So if I know that Kathy only has 3 pieces, well, guess what? Sue that's on the phone, come in at 1:15 instead of 1 o'clock, and I'll get you squeezed in, right? Because I know that this person here only has 3 pieces. She's going to come in, get her out with an ultimate upgrade. Next thing you know, she's sitting there, and then it's time to go for her as well, right? That way you can get 16, 18, 20 people in a day, right? But you only do that if you know your schedule and you have someone that's scheduling it properly and knows how to do the windows, right? I also have in here, I do have an assistant that comes to the shows or comes to the service events, and then they help with the overflow. I think it's very important. If you don't do that many service calls, or you go to an area that's very underserviced, that you bring someone in to also help you out with that. Okay, to give you guys an idea, I was in Albuquerque. We had scheduled 3 days at Albuquerque. Next thing you know, we had 96 people come in 3 days, right? Yeah, it was a $34,000 event, but you should see when you have rows of people sitting waiting to get their knife sharpened. It's intense, but it's exciting. So yes, just plan to have someone there to help you with it, okay? And then I have here, after the service events, the thing is that don't schedule a service event in the same area multiple times, okay? Get your customers accustomed to you only being there once a year or twice a year. Does that make sense? So that once that marketing goes out, then that customer knows immediately, okay, he's back in here, better get it scheduled, right? Did a service event at the end of January. We sent out the email within 2 hours, completely booked for 3 days, okay? Customers were pissed because they're like, I didn't have a chance. And I was like, well, you had 2 hours, right? You'll have to wait until next time, okay? But what it is it's just, that's how it is, you know what I mean? You guys got to remember, you guys are the anomaly, you guys are the reps, you guys are the Hall of Fame reps. Your customer should know that you're a Hall of Fame status, that you don't have the time all the time for them, but when it is time, they should respect it and get it, you know what I mean? Come for it, right? That's why my customer's like, oh shit, he's here, let's do this. Like, you know, they get all giddy, they get all excited, right? It's because you got an hour with me, let's make it happen, right? And we have fun and we joke and we do things, lots of hugs, kisses, lots of food that's brought to me, lots of random stuff happens, okay? Then I have here, I was like last year, 16 shows, okay? This is very important. I know that a lot of you guys in this room just go from show to show to show, work every single show that you can, try to find everything you can. I would tell you stop that, okay? The thing that's helped me build what I've built is because I found the key events that I want to work, okay? And what I do is I maximize those events, but what I also do is I build those events. And what I mean by that is that if it's a small, like three-day show, and you're only producing 3 or 4K, and you know that you could be doing a service event instead, selling 7 to 10K, get rid of the three-day show, okay? I know that that sounds ludicrous, but it's like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, right? Averages are averages, and it's very obvious. If you have a 0 day at a show, get rid of it, okay? I've had a show in our territory for years that it's all like, okay, well, I'll just not do those days because I know those are terrible days, and then I'll just work these days, and then it's all like, you know what, screw it. I don't need to do that show. It's not worth my time, right? There's just a moment where you have to say no to events because I know what we do is we go, oh, I got to get to the next event. Because that's the only way you're selling is event to event to event. If you had an actual schedule, you wouldn't have to do that, okay? Then I put here, I was like, if you do have a show that is in a good territory that's the only show that's in that area, just because it didn't do well on the first year, give it another year, right? You got to develop it, right? I have a show in Salida, Colorado, okay? It's a 2-day home show. It's up in the middle of the mountains. The first year that I did it, it did 7K, and I was like, okay, 7K, is it worth me doing again? Should I pass it to my team? And I'm like, you know what? This is in a little niche area of Colorado. Maybe I should do it again. Come back the next year, I sold 32,000, right? And I'm like, oh, well, maybe we can develop this into something. You were there at that show. And it's just like wall-to-wall people, right, that come in just to see Cutco, right? And then now that I've done it year after year, it does 30K every single year, okay? And the thing is that everybody brings their knives into me. I send all their knives back. I get to do all their upgrades. I get to do everything like that. So it's like a home show, but it's like a service event home show, right? Because those people know you have one chance a year to see me, and it's at this show, right? And they tell all their friends, and then it just becomes a thing, right? So that's why I said, develop your own shows. Don't worry about the other shows that are going on, right? Because you don't need to do 50 shows a year to have a good year, okay? Then I put in here 2 flash sales. This is something I learned from Deanna, okay? Deanna and I, if anyone knows me, I do not advertise to my customers. I do not do sales. I do not tell them when the price increase is happening. I don't tell them when like a cookware thing is ending. I don't talk about anything that to my customer. The reason why? Cutco's expensive. Expect to pay for it, okay? If you can't afford it when you see me, I'm sorry, then you'll have to buy it when it's more expensive the next time you see me, right? So I just let people know you don't have to put sales out there all the time, right? When you do a sale, it's a big deal, right? To my customers now, they're like, oh shit, he actually has a sale. This guy never does sales, right? And this is something that Deanna taught me, and she goes, you don't have to do a sale all the time, and you don't have to tell people about when prices are changing and all that, which I never did. But she's like, Curtis, can you imagine if you sent out an email to 10,000 people, like, and told them, hey, you got 24 hours to buy this and this and that and that, right? And I was like, Deanna, it's not gonna work. And I did it, and I didn't wanna do it because my schedule doesn't allow me, like, I don't like following up, you know, as you can see with catalogs, that's why I hire someone out, right? But with the flash sale, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna do this thing. And then next thing you know, it's like $24,000 in, you know, a 24-hour period. And I was like, okay, Deanna. I was like, that was just a fluke. It's my first time doing it, you know. And then Deanna's like, but this time you got to do a video, and you got to do a text video, and you got to do that. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do it. November, I did it again. And then next thing you know, it was like another $30,000, right? And I was like, I can get used to this thing, right? So just know that there is different ways to do that. But when you guys do your flash sales, you have to be committed to it, okay? If you do anything in Cutco, you can't do it half-assed, okay? If you do it half-assed, you're gonna get half-assed results, okay? And if anyone knows me, I don't do anything half-assed. It's full throttle all the way. And if it doesn't work out, then we just dismiss it and it never happened, right? Okay. The next thing I have here, and this is the biggest gift that I can give to this room, because I don't think that you guys think like a business owner. You guys don't talk to your business owners like a business owner. When you guys sell business gifts, okay, either to a realtor or you sell it to just a regular business gift, how come you guys aren't doing your guys' yearly reviews with your customers? I know a lot of you guys are going, what are you talking about? So a yearly review is something that most businesses understand, okay? And if you say, hey, it's time to do your yearly review with Cutco, they're going, oh, I forgot, right? I didn't know we had a yearly review. So you can go and you can do that. A yearly review is where you call your business owner and you say, hey, it's time for me to come in and do our yearly review with your gifts. And then the customer's like, well, what do you mean? What you do is you schedule that appointment, you go out to their office or whatever, and then what you do is you have a conversation with them on how to strategize and how to utilize their gifts and how their gifts went and what went well and what should change and what we can do to fix that and what our path is moving forward, okay? This is something I know a lot of you guys aren't doing, but this is something that easily goes into the schedule when I know I don't have a show or an event that's going on. It's like, hey, call Kane. I need to go see him with his concrete, you know, gifts. And then my assistant's like, oh, this is interesting. What are you going to do? I was like, tell him that I'll meet him either for lunch or dinner, or we can go get cocktails, but I need to do a yearly review. Next thing you know, call him, go out there. Hey, it's time to do your yearly review. Let's talk about your two-piece sets, right? How did it go? Who did you give it to? What's the reaction? What's going on with these gifts? Well, this is what's going on. This is what they're saying. This is what people are loving. I wish there was just this and this and this. Okay, well, great. Let's strategize on how we can make those gifts go further than where they're going now. Like, who are you giving the gifts to? How much are they spending to get that gift? How can we make it so they don't have to spend as much to get a gift, right? All of this happens in that meeting, but at the end of that meeting, you have a client that's sitting here going, wow, like this guy's actually trying to help me market and make my business better. But at the same time, you get that $10,000, $8,000 order that you got the year before because he's like, hey, I trust this guy. I know this guy's helping me. It's time to keep moving forward. So you do your yearly reviews. We'll answer questions at the end. Okay, well, I only have 5 minutes. Okay. So do your yearly reviews. The next thing too, I know that this is a sore subject with some divisions. This is a sore subject with a lot of people, but in our division, RWAR, okay, I know that this, people already, I can see their faces, they're like RWAR, RWAR, okay? So ROR is something huge in the Rocky Mountain division, and what we do is we make it so that we leverage our team to help our clients, okay? And it doesn't matter who's on our team, but the thing is that helps me through the year is that knowing that if a customer goes up to Charlie Boyd's gonna take his time with that customer. I'm going to pay him out on that order. And then if Charlie Boyd's customer comes to me, I'm gonna take my time with that customer, and it's a reciprocal thing, okay? A lot of my annual sales do come from ROR because the main thing is that we're trying to build a foundation. If you wanna get better at your business, get 20,000 customers. Trust me, it helps out, okay? And the thing is that ROR really helps that out as well, okay? And the thing is that if you have that with your local team, then it's like, it doesn't matter where your customer comes. You can promote any kind of sale, or you can promote any show that's in your territory, and we all work together as a team, okay? Now, yes, it's a sticky subject, but I put it in there because I think that it's important that people need to start talking about it, because 3 years ago, 2019, my team sold more chests of flatware than I did personally, okay, for my customers. It was great. It was like I hired a team to sell flatware for me. It was great. So I'm just saying, know that in the back of your head. Okay, also, systems that bring you money. CSP catalogs, they bring you money. If you're not doing the CSP catalogs at the end of the year, you're losing money. Okay, and I know a lot of you guys are like, but I don't think my customers are getting it. No, they're getting it. You're just not reaching out to them. You don't know that they're getting it. Okay, so I put here, you got to text them, you got to email them, you got to let your customers know that a catalog is coming, and you also have to remind them that they received their catalog. Okay, if you want better results. Steve Porzik told me that my CSP catalog program, I'm like the #1 person in sales from that. I do over 100 grand, and I have for like 6 years straight. It's probably because we text them, we email them, and we let them know that their catalog's coming. And then we also let them know, hey, did you get your catalog? I hope you did. Let me know. Here's some of the events you can come and see me at. Follow up, follow up, follow up, right? Emails, everything great, okay? Rep portals. This is the tool that nobody in this room uses, and you pay $10 a month or $20. I don't even know how much it costs. They just charge my account. But we utilize the hell out of it, okay? If you guys are going to Aruba, send an email out through your rep portal, right, on a sale, right, or on sharpening, right? We do it where it's like, okay, I'm going to Aruba. When I get back, I need to work. Okay, great. Let me go to my rep portal. Let me put, it's time to get your knife sharpened. Boom, we send out an email blast. I come back and my assistant's like, yeah, we got 400 emails back saying that they need their knife sharpened. Great, we got a lot of work to do. Where do we got to do our service events? You know what I mean? Everything's programmed. So rep portals, utilize them. The other thing that's nice about the rep portal is that you should be channeling all your business through that portal anyways, so that if they need to buy something, they can go right on there. Okay, it was great in January when I got a 12,000 CPO bump because people bought on the Cutco.com website. Okay, I was just like, oh great, I didn't even know, right? It was wonderful, but at the same time, I'm getting more and more people buying on the rep portal, because what we do is if we find out that that person bought on Cutco.com, we simply just send them an email and says, hey, I know you bought it on Cutco.com. Next time, check out my website. There's great discounts and great things that are on there, right? Now this customer's like, oh, I don't have to go to that website. I can just go to his website, right? Just so we can keep it internal. Last thing, I only have 5 minutes. I put balance, okay? I think that I'm very balanced at what I do. You know, I feel great. I enjoy what I do. I love what I sell. But at the same time, I do a lot of things to help myself out. Self-retreats. I don't know if you guys do this. Go on a self-retreat, and that just you, yourself, and you're lonesome. Go and do something fun for yourself. Don't take your cell phone. Don't talk to people. Just do your own thing. Reset, re-energize. The other thing, too, is put yourself in quiet spaces. I know this group loves their music. I've been around you guys for a long time. Some of you guys just have to have it up loud all the time, and I'm like, why? I can't even think, right? Maybe I'm getting old, I don't know. But I can tell you this, if you want to do better, turn the radio off, take a long drive. I'll tell you, I've gotten more work done in quiet drives where I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Look, I forgot that. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to call that. You know, and then it just comes out, and then I get my list of to-do that I need to do personal, but I also need to do within Cutco, and it's great. Then I get to the hotel, it's like, okay, I have this. You already have everything listed, and it's ready to go. The other thing I do is reward yourself and your family, okay? Your CSPs, you make way too much money, okay? The best thing you can do with that money is give it back to your family and your friends, okay? Yes, bottle service is a wonderful thing for me. I love it because I just see the shenanigans. But that's not the only time I give back, right? You know, like my daughter loves Hawaii. I'm like, great, this is going to be expensive, right? What did I do? I bought her a Disney Vacation Club for 50 years, right? It's like, okay, what am I going to do with this $20,000? My wife just wrecked her car. They gave me a $26,000 check. Should I buy her a new car, or should I put it towards, let's just buy Chloe this vacation club, right? And the thing is that I know it's like, car, whatever, we have 3 of them. You can have the old one, right? So, but the thing is that I just tell you guys, if you want balance, put balance in the life of the people that really care the most about you, and give them things and spoil them and let them live how we live. You guys know when you sell an Ultimate or you sell a Cutco kitchen, you know that moment where you're like, you're all excited. That person needs to feel that too. So don't forget that. Stay balanced. But other than that, kick ass. That's what I do. That's how I build what I do. I hope you guys continue your path, and let's get people over like millions.